Alright, so as I'm welding these tabs in places, actually I'm just tacking them into place, I find it really a lot easier to just tack this stuff in place, not having my helmet on. I just close my eyes, and also most of the time I've got the nozzle of the MIG welder shielding any arc, and I'm just tacking them in place real quick. So if you notice I'm not wearing a helmet in some of these tack deals, I'm not looking at this arc, and you shouldn't either, because I've had arc flash before, not even looking at arc directly, and it will feel like somebody threw sand in your eyes. So be careful when you do this kind of stuff. Always wear your helmet, except maybe like I'm doing when I'm tacking, just be super careful. not real sure if I have to or if I have to put them on both sides, but I want to build some triangular support pieces that fit right in here. Keep this assembly from moving back and forth. I'll probably make them longer, kind of come up around this area right here. Not sure if I need to put them on both sides of each one of these. I guess I probably should. So I'll need to make 2, 4, 6, 8 of those. And come over, I'll show you how we do that. Alright, so I've got 4 of these cut. I just need to mark them, cut them right here, and we'll make 2 gussets, 1 for each side of each arm. So let's cut those up. And I have noticed in building this thing, the thing that takes the most amount of time really is cutting all these parts, all the pieces to make the hinges with. It takes forever. And if you had the proper equipment, you could stamp out these things, you could laser cut them, you know, with real quick efficiency. But this takes forever to cut all this stuff out. But it's working out real well. Right, now I got all these gussets in place here, tacked in, and I think what I'll do now is I'll weld all this in on both sides here on these gussets and get to anywhere else that I've only tacked together, and then take the grapple fingers off and turn it over so I can get to the other side and weld it. So I won't bore you with that, but I'm going to get to welding. Alright, now I got everything all welded up, gusseted up, and it fits nice. I made some hinge pins out of some stock. We'll just have some little, what do they call them, hairpins that go in there. So those just, I'll be able to take this thing off and on, and as I need it. And I will also just, I'll be able to unpin the ram right here. So what I've done, trying to figure out the fully collapsed and extended length of the ram and how far it's going to push this thing closed. And I about have the bottom where I want it to that closeness. There's a little bit of gap, but I'm going to have some teeth. Plus there's some adjustment. On this ram to where I can shorten it. So what I've done, I'm gonna have two brackets like this that go on the outside of the ram, and then this is gonna mount somewhere right there, and then so this ram fully collapsed is 20 1/4, fully extended is 28 1/4. So if I have that rear bracket right there, this front one right here, I mean it really is pretty close to fully extended. It'll go a little bit further. So I think I'll just tack everything in place and then get an idea of exactly the movement. If I don't like it, I'll change it. So let's try this. Okay, the spread that I need here between these two brackets is 2.5 inches. So 1 1/4 on either side of center. Oh, you know what I need to do here? I want to pop this off. I'm going to drill both 1-inch holes in here first, put a pin through it, then tack it in place. All right, so after thinking about this for a little bit, I was trying to have the ram extended fully when it was all the way closed. And that's not the way you need to do this. Basically, I have these on kind of backwards. The ram needs to be extended up higher on this end. This side needs to be closer down. And I need to begin, I need to have it fully collapsed in that position, and that's where it'll start. So what I'm going to do is I think I want to have the fully open position, something like that. So now from the lower mount to the top mount needs to be, I'll look at the measurement, I think it was 20 1/4. And that's fully collapsed, and that's where I'm going to make the mounts. And when I open the ram up and close the jaws down, it doesn't really matter where it ends up. It'll probably come down and hit the bottom of the bucket before the ram gets fully extended. So I'm going to knock these sets of brackets off, and then we're going to test fit them the other way. Alright guys, so what I did was I made a pattern, and I cut just a regular 45-degree angle right in here, or 90-degree angle in here, and it didn't really work very well, so I cut a different angle here to see if it would match up, and made this pattern, and I think this pattern will work. So we'll take it and tack it in place and see how it goes. Alright, that's fully open. It looks pretty good. And that's fully closed. Now as I come down here, it looks like it's wanting to hit right here. So I think what I'll do is I'll put a little relief right in there to give it a little room. I thought I had this upper mount high enough to compensate for that, but I'll just relieve it out a little bit. I ended up buying two 72-inch hoses. They really were two different sizes that I needed, 60 inch and 75 inch or somewhere in there. I think two of the same size would work. It's maybe a little bit long, but you'll see. Right now I have to have it this length, because right now as this is articulated down, that's as long from this point to that point. And so this hose and this hose, two different lengths, but they really didn't have a lot to choose from. These were only 20 bucks each over at Atwood's. This should work here. when this bucket is raised back up in the level position, I'm gonna have to see where all the hose goes. I might have to have some kind of spring-loaded tie-up or rubber attachment so it can move with it. But we'll hook these hoses up. We'll look and see what happens when we raise the bucket up, and we'll bleed the air out of it. I'm going to go ahead and change the hydraulic fluid out and put a new filter on it as well. So we'll do that too. The field plug on this Ford 1720 is right here on the top back of the left side of this transmission. Alright, I've got almost all the fluid in it, so what I'm going to do right now is start it up without the grapple hooked up. I'm going to cycle the rams and get the air out of the system, get the air out of the filter. Once I get it working properly, then I'll hook that grapple up, and then we'll see if it even works. Well, that works good. I'm really glad it worked. So I'm going to take this thing off, clean up some of the spatter off, throw some paint on it, put it back on, and I'll show you the end product here in just a second. So hey guys, that'll do it for this video on this grapple. I got it all painted up and put it on, and it works really well. The lower piece that I put on here is just 3 little grab arms to help hold on to brush. This is a pretty light duty tractor, and I suspected it might be able to carry about, I'll have to look it up, I think it's about 800 pounds. And this altogether on the front of this weighs probably 250, maybe 200. That's going to decrease from the capacity that it can carry, but it's really easily removable. There's pins that come out here on the top hinges, pins on the ram, and this lower little bar on the bottom, it has 4 bolts and it slides off forward, so that I can just retain the bucket use as normal. So I'll show you how it works. Check this out.
that's going to do it for this video. As always, we appreciate you watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit notification bell on the bottom down there to get notified when I put another video out, and we'll see you next time on Steve Restorations.